Hello, you're watching the CNC Talk Show. I'm your host Sam Duckett in Beijing, and I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Lee. Hi, I'm Ping.
So guys, I recently came to the realization that this is my 10th year in Beijing.
Oh, wow, you've been here for a decade.
I know,
That's
right?
Quite a long time.
And apart from a brief stint in Shanghai, I've spent the majority of the entire 10 years right here in Beijing.
And I've been in Beijing for about 10 years. And I'm guessing that you've noticed quite a few changes during that time.
Well, yes and no. I would say in terms of architectural changes, you don't really notice that when you're living in the city. So if there's a new building built or a new train station, that sometimes tends to go a bit unnoticed. What I have noticed though is the big change in technology and the way that we use mobile apps. I mean, I remember when I first came to China, that was the iPhone was starting to really become a thing. And then in 2011, as I was finishing my master's degree, that was when WeChat rolled out. And that basically just changed everything.
Well, we were like the first batch of teenagers to have access to this great social media app that made it so convenient for us to, talk about school life and arrange to meet up.
And I think one of the other big changes that changed the game for foreigners in China was the access to WeChat Pay. I mean, for me personally, I was quite fortunate. I started studying Mandarin Chinese when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
I was very young and
Yeah.
interested in China at the time. And that meant that by the time I arrived in Beijing, buying something in a store wasn't a huge problem for me. But for a lot of foreigners in Beijing, it's not the case. And when you think about it, there's a lot of Chinese that you kind of have to learn for a simple transaction. You've got to ask, you've got to learn numbers, you've got to learn to say card or cash or check or whatever. You've got to ask for change. WeChat basically simplified that into one simple phrase, 微信支付.
Or you can just say WeChat or Alipay, and the person working in a shop would know that you're going to pay by your QR code. And some it actually did not just make life easier for foreigners, for us Chinese too.
Well, indeed, mobile payment helps to make transaction so much easier and save a lot of time. For instance, if I need to split the bill with my friends after dinner, I don't have to calculate the exact amount of money I need to pay because apps like WeChat and Alipay, they will calculate for me. All I need to do is to scan the QR code.
The number of mobile payment users has surged over recent years. I think the most important reason is that the technology has made payments so easy and convenient. You don't have to be tech savvy to set it up.
It's funny when you said that, it reminded me of this great story I saw recently about Ningxia. And with this story, it was talking about a store in a residential district and it was completely automated. You had no employees in the store. You walk in and you just pay with WeChat. We've actually got a copy of that video and we're going to show it to you guys now to see what it's all about.
是这个小区的住户又新鲜又方便，注册一次呢，扫一下，一开门就拿你自己所需要的东西，然后呢多了少了都很方便的。再一个它是自动唱，然后拿出来以后呢，一关上它就体现出来多少钱。
操作简单，
操作特别简单，特别方便，而且价格也特别合适。所以说我们特别希望就这种的购货方式。
Well, that's impressive. I can imagine how convenient it can be. It not only saves manpower, but also greatly reduces the risk of infection amid pandemic.
Yeah, it shows that technology is indeed changing our lifestyle.
Speaking of changing your lifestyle, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there's actually an app out there right now that helps you keep track of your carbon footprint and the efforts you're making to reduce it. And you can use this to plant a tree in real life.
Oh, I know that is
And I use that.
the ant forest.
Yeah.
So all your low carbon actions can be transferred into energies. And when you gather enough energy, you can even collect a tree in the desert to help make the environment better. Now let's take a look at a vlog from Northwest China's Gansu province.
大家好，我是巴布沙林场职工陈树军。我是2016年7月份来到巴布沙林场的。通过网络，我们联系到了蚂蚁森林以及网络，这个各种公益的基金会来投资，来参与到这个巴布沙的种树当中。另外，我们还种植了梭梭佳节肉苁蓉，现在肉苁蓉已经种了1万多亩，预计年产量达到100多吨，市场价还是销售还是相当好的。所以在以后的发展当中，我们首先要想到的是科技发展，不能单纯的靠人力这些东西来解决这个治沙的问题。谢谢大家。
And as Chen said in that video, with the development of science and technology, I think that there's now a lot of things that we don't need to simply solve by using manpower.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest advantages of application is that it can integrate resources more efficiently. Like for instance, in China's Nanjing city, you can simply enjoy the home care service by placing an order through WeChat. Oh. And for those patients who are unable to move to the hospital by themselves, it's so much more convenient. Just click WeChat and problem solved. Now let's take a look.
因为我父亲嘛，他不能走，然后呢，如果每一次都要跑到医院去的话，那是很费时的。所以说上门服务这一块的话就非常方便，对我们来说是非常方便的。
有3个渠道可预约我院的服务项目，一个是通过江北新区微信公众号，一个是关注我院微信公众号，第3个是扫我院服务护士的2维码即可下单。
From WePay to Ant Forest to home care services, the development of technology is not only improving our lifestyles, but it's also giving us a general upgrade in terms of our standards of living. I think this really shows the significance of the development of science and technology. And it's been a nice chat. We've had a good talk about how this is changing our lives. And I imagine that our lives in 10 years' time will probably also be very different from what they are today, because it just keeps developing. And remember, if you want to get in on the chat and leave us a comment, you can do so by finding us on the following address. Just leave a comment below and we're always welcoming your opinions on our stories. And with that, we actually come to the end of our show today. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the discussion and we look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.